The new school year was such a hassle. My roommate, because of a rich second-generation heir at our school, swallowed leeches alive to lose weight. I kindly advised her about the dangers of parasites. Eventually, she gave up. But then that rich heir started dating a girl who successfully lost weight. My roommate, Lena, seeing red with fury, shoved me right off the building. "It's all your fault," she shrieked. "If it weren't for you, he'd be in love with me. Go die." When I opened my eyes again, I smiled at my roommate. Losing weight with leeches? That sounds amazing. Once you're thin, won't that rich heir be head over heels for you? Anya, I've found a folk remedy that can help me lose weight super fast. The familiar voice, filled with an eerie fervor, echoed. A deep hatred surged through my heart. I opened my eyes and found myself in the dorm room. I had been reborn. Reborn on the very day my new roommate, Lena, the fox, was about to swallow leeches to lose weight. In my previous life, right after we enrolled, my new roommate, Lena, had declared her infatuation with the wealthy heir, Liam Hayes, from our school. Liam Hayes was a notorious playboy, changing girlfriends like clothes. Moreover, he had incredibly high standards, only favoring beautiful girls with hot figures. Lena, my roommate, not only had an ordinary appearance but was also dark-skinned and chubby, completely failing to catch Liam Hayes's eye. Instead of thinking of healthy ways to lose weight, she immediately latched onto a folk remedy: swallowing leeches alive. I gently advised her against it, even searching online for countless articles on the dangers of leeches and the risks of parasites, presenting them to her. Finally, I managed to convince her to abandon the idea. The result? Not long after, Liam Hayes started dating a girl from the next class who had successfully lost weight. Lena went berserk, dragging me to the rooftop. With bloodshot eyes, she pushed me. "It's all your fault. You have a similar figure to mine." If I had lost weight first, I would be the one by Liam Hayes's side right now. You were definitely jealous and deliberately stopped me. Otherwise, I'd be Mrs. Hayes by now. You can go to hell. A searing pain engulfed me. My last memory was Lena's distorted face. I never thought the heavens would have mercy on me and grant me a rebirth. "Anya, why aren't you saying anything?" Lena pouted, a gesture that looked rather bizarre on her chubby face. I suppressed the seething hatred and forced a smile. "What kind of folk remedy is it?" Lena opened the small box in her hand. Even though I was shocked in my previous life, seeing this scene again, I still felt a wave of nausea. Inside the box, countless leeches writhed, each as thick as a pinky finger, squirming wildly. Lena spoke with fervent excitement, staring at the leeches with mesmerized eyes. "These treasures, of course. I saw a folk remedy online about swallowing leeches alive. In less than half a month, I can lose weight instantly. What do you think?" Thinking of that sight, I almost vomited. But in this life, I wouldn't meddle in other people's affairs. I had already tasted the bitter consequences of helping an ungrateful person. I feigned astonishment. "Really? Lena, aren't you about to become a gorgeous, hot-figured beauty then? You're absolutely smitten with Liam Hayes, aren't you?" Hearing Liam Hayes's name, a shy expression appeared on Lena's dark face. "Of course. By then, I'll make him unable to leave my side." As she spoke, Lena reached out and pinched a leech. The thin, black leech wriggled incessantly in her hand, trying to find a soft spot to suck blood. The sight was truly grotesque. I stood beside her, mouth agape in feigned shock. "Look at how useless you are," Lena scoffed, giving me a disdainful glance. "These are weight loss leeches. I spent a fortune to buy them. They're different from ordinary leeches. They both help you lose weight and nourish your skin. They even have another name, jade dewworms. Just you wait and see." Lena put the wriggling leech into her mouth and swallowed it. Then she picked up the second and the third. Very quickly, all the leeches in the small box were swallowed. Lena smiled contentedly, licking the corners of her lips. I felt as if countless leeches were rooting themselves inside her body, unceremoniously feasting on her flesh and blood. Unable to bear this horrifying sight any longer, I made an excuse to leave. I spent half the day throwing up in the public restroom. It was late afternoon when I finally returned to the dorm from the library. The moment I arrived, Lena's impatient, self-satisfied voice rang out from her bed. "Anya, go to the cafeteria and get me some food. 2 portions of sweet and sour pork from stall number 5, and a portion of shrimp dumplings from the second floor. Hurry up." I looked up to see her lying on her bed, holding her phone, flirting with a guy in a game. Lena, you still haven't paid me back for the food I bought you last time. It's 153.6 yuan in total. Transfer the money first. Why are you so stingy? Counting every penny, Lena mumbled, cursing under her breath. I couldn't help but chuckle. How could someone be so brazen? I leaned closer to her and said loudly, No way. A young miss like you is short on 153.2 yuan. Pay up quickly. I had spoken too loudly. Lena hadn't had time to mute her game mic, and the guy in the game immediately asked suspiciously, What's wrong, babe? Didn't you say your roommate was really poor? Why does she owe you money? Her online image exposed, Lena quickly muted her game mic and glared at me fiercely. Here, take it, you blind fool. Can't you see I'm playing a game? When I become Mrs. Hayes, this small amount of money will be nothing. The notification of money received chimed on my phone. I curved my lips in satisfaction. Lena always asked me to buy her food but never paid. This time, I finally got all my money back. As for that guy's words, I could guess what Lena had been saying about me behind my back with my toes. How many times had Lena slandered me to build her own image? How many times had she cursed me? Why was I so meek in my previous life? I still couldn't understand. Because I refused to buy food for Lena that night, she ordered a large bucket of fried chicken. Under the dim light, Lena, with a piece of chicken in each hand, stuffed them into her mouth frantically. So good, so hungry, delicious. She devoured the entire bucket of fried chicken, even sucking on each bone with relish. Finally, after chugging 2 glasses of Coca-Cola, she contentedly climbed into bed and fell asleep. Perhaps Lena herself didn't realize her appetite had increased severalfold. I knew it was the leeches in her body at work, urging their host to eat continuously. I remembered from my previous life that the news later reported on a black market industry selling genetically modified leeches with various uses at exorbitant prices, deceiving people who wanted to lose weight without effort. These leeches would constantly urge you to eat. Eventually, when your body could no longer provide them with energy, they would drain you dry, sucking you alive until you died. It seemed the leeches Lena had paid a large sum for were indeed products of this black market industry. In my previous life, it was my intervention that saved her from this disaster. She knew about this news but blamed me for everything, harming me to death. This was also why I stood by and watched her walk down this path of no return. The next morning, I was awakened by Lena's screams. I'm thin, I'm finally thin. Lena stood on the scale, overjoyed. Look, Anya, I lost 10 pounds in just one night, and I ate so much fried chicken, French fries, all those high-calorie foods. Lena hugged the small box, her eyes full of infatuation. It's truly good stuff. This is really amazing. Not only do I not have to diet, but I can eat whatever I want. It's so wonderful. I groggily dragged myself out of bed. Looking at Lena, she indeed looked much thinner. I praised her. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Where did you buy these leeches? Losing so much weight, won't it affect your health negatively? Hearing my words, Lena looked at me cautiously. What are you up to, Anya? You're asking so many questions. Are you trying to follow my lead? Eat leeches to lose weight and then seduce Liam Hayes? I quickly shook my head. How could I? Didn't you say those leeches are very expensive? I don't have that much money to buy them. In reality, my living expenses were quite generous. Although my family wasn't extremely wealthy, they were well off. But to prevent Lena from borrowing money from me later, I had deliberately pretended to be financially strapped lately. Hearing my words, Lena smiled smugly. It's good that you know your place. A penniless girl like you couldn't afford them even if I told you where. Just wait until I become Mrs. Hayes, you can beg me then. Maybe I'll even toss you a few coins. Confidence, absolute confidence. I almost wanted to applaud. Lena pinched her waist where there was still some excess fat. She mumbled, but losing 10 pounds in one night is too slow. I need to lose at least 20 pounds. I have to get thin quickly. What if Liam Hayes starts dating some other cheap girl? I said, it's okay. I think you're already doing great. Losing so much in one night, if you're afraid Liam Hayes will date someone else, just ask him out or befriend him to keep an eye on him. Lena's eyes lit up. You're right. She rummaged through her closet, pulling out a pile of cosmetics. She started doing her makeup. After putting on her dress, she grabbed her handbag and left the dorm. I yawned and went back to sleep. But my nap didn't last long before I was awakened by the loud slam of the door. Lena came back crying, collapsing onto her bed, sobbing uncontrollably. I opened my phone and happened to scroll past Liam Hayes' post on the school's social media wall. Can all these wild boars stop trying to add me anymore? Dark and fat, my eyes are polluted. Disgusted. Combining this with Lena's expression, I immediately guessed what had happened. Lena had confidently gone to add Liam Hayes on WeChat, only to be rejected and publicly ridiculed. But Liam Hayes was such a scumbag, so disrespectful of others. Why did Lena still like him? I truly couldn't understand. I shook my head. After a good cry, Lena angrily cursed at me. Anya, you truly have no kindness. If you hadn't incited me to ask Liam Hayes for his WeChat, I wouldn't have been humiliated in front of him. You're so vicious. I widened my eyes. How unfair. Everything was my fault. Did she see me as a punching bag? Looking at Lena's face, flushed with anger and full of hatred towards me, I shivered. She was the type of person who blamed everything on others. I had learned that lesson in my previous life. This time, she definitely hated me again. I immediately said softly, "Wasn't I just trying to help you, afraid your future boyfriend would be stolen? Oh, you're really something, I told you already. Liam Hayes only likes women with hot figures. You're not thin yet, you haven't given him a surprise. Doing something like that was too sudden." Perhaps the words, future boyfriend, pleased her. Lena's face showed a hint of doubt. Really? Of course, it's real, I pressed on, sending her Liam Hayes' WeChat again. As long as you get thin, I guarantee he'll be utterly obsessed with you. He'll buy you all sorts of luxury brands. Just so you know, I fully support you in pursuing your love. I've never even added Liam Hayes myself. I had to ask so many friends to get his WeChat for you. After my flurry of words and the WeChat I sent her, Lena's previously gloomy face immediately brightened again. She intimately moved closer, wanting to link arms with me. Oh, Anya, I was just angry earlier. You know I love you the most, my good roommate. You're right. The urgent thing now is for me to get thin immediately and capture Liam Hayes' heart. Lena was precisely that kind of persona master of changing her expression. As long as you were useful to her, her attitude would immediately shift. I quietly avoided her touch and smiled faintly. Of course, maybe you're not eating enough, or maybe you should increase the dosage. I think so too, Lena completely agreed. That night, she contacted the black market dealer again and ordered another box of weight loss leeches. Receiving the leeches, Lena's eyes revealed a crazed look, and she mumbled, "This time, I specifically asked the seller to increase the dosage. Let's see if I don't get thin instantly." I glanced at them and immediately felt a chill run down my spine. The leeches in the box were larger and stronger than before, and even more active, writhing constantly inside the box. They looked like a teeming tide of leeches. Lena grabbed 3 or 4 leeches with one hand and shoved them straight into her mouth. Her throat moved, revealing a strange, mesmerized expression. Very quickly, she swallowed the entire box of leeches, not leaving a single one. Not long after swallowing the leeches, Lena's stomach began to gurgle loudly. "So hungry, why am I getting hungry so fast?" Immediately said, "It must be your weight loss leeches working, they're helping you lose weight." Lena's eyes lit up, she completely agreed. "That makes sense. For them to work, I should still try not to eat." She climbed onto her bed, feigning a sweet voice as she sent voice messages to Liam Hayes, then scrolled through his social media, her eyes sparkling. She showed me Liam Hayes' social media. "Anya, do you see? My Liam casually buys a new car, a new house. You've never seen such a rich man, have you?" She hugged her phone, happily starting to fantasize. "Once I become his girlfriend, I'll directly transcend social classes and become Mrs. Hayes." I looked at her with pity. I shook my head silently and then messaged a real estate agent, asking about houses for rent. Living with this madwoman, I didn't know what other strange things might happen. That evening, Lena groaned in bed, clutching her stomach. "Oh, it hurts so much. Why does it hurt like this? I'm in so much pain, both pain and hunger." She angrily cursed at me. "Anya, you're so cold-hearted. Your roommate is lying here and you don't even care." I lazily said, "Is it because of the leeches? Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" Lena burped, becoming even angrier. "What does it have to do with my precious leeches? I think you just don't want to see me successfully lose weight." I put on my headphones, pretending not to hear anything. Seeing that I was ignoring her, Lena screamed for a while until the dorm manager knocked on the door and warned her. Only then did she quiet down. The quiet didn't last long. I heard her secretly get up. She started rummaging through her closet. Under the dim moonlight, I saw Lena pull out several bottles of iced tea from the cabinet. She greedily gulped them down, her throat moving up and down nonstop. In one go, she finished 5 bottles of iced tea. 5 empty soda cans lay discarded on the floor, but Lena still felt it wasn't enough. From some corner, she pulled out a pile of expired, dusty snacks and ravenously ate them. Very quickly, plastic wrappers piled up on the floor. After eating those, she couldn't find anything else to eat and turned her gaze towards my desk. On my desk was a leftover lunchbox. I heard Lena bitterly curse at me, buying such cheap food, truly a commoner who doesn't know how to enjoy life. Despite her insults, she still grabbed the lunchbox with one hand, continuously shoveling rice into her mouth with chopsticks. Only after eating the very last grain of rice in the box did she sigh contentedly. Without even washing her face, she climbed straight into bed and fell asleep. I coldly watched this scene, recalling the news from my previous life. This indicated that the leeches in her body were growing. If she had refrained from eating, she could still be saved by removing the leeches now. Once she consumed a lot of food, that was providing energy for the leeches to take root and flourish in her body. By then, it would be impossible to remove them. But what did that have to do with me? I turned over and went back to sleep. The next morning, Lena was thin again. Unlike the last time, this time she had lost more than 20 pounds, and her waist was vaguely visible. Lena's rapid transformation quickly attracted the attention of others. How could someone get thin so quickly? She received quite a few compliments from female classmates, and many came to ask her for her weight loss secret. Each time, Lena would act extremely arrogant, putting on airs as she lectured the girls who came seeking advice. "I just eat less and exercise more. Not to mention, you're too fat. Can't you control your greedy mouth?" These kind-hearted girls who came for advice were immediately ridiculed, and many of their expressions changed. Lena offended quite a few people without even realizing it, reveling in her slim figure, becoming even more boastful and arrogant. Perhaps she herself didn't notice that fewer and fewer people were asking her questions, and more people were avoiding her. She was triumphant, recently indulging in buying all sorts of luxury brands. "Liam Hayes is a young master. I can't be inferior. Only by being on the same economic level can I earn respect." Every time I heard these words, I found it hilarious. Was her same economic level just her borrowing money from various small loan platforms to buy luxury goods? I had just returned to the dorm to pack my things when I saw Lena holding up an expensive handbag. "Look, country bumpkin, this is a Hermes bag. You'll never be able to use one in your life. I'm allowing you to look at it to broaden your horizons." But that night I heard her on the balcony, angrily calling someone. "What? Why is the interest rate so high? Are you swindlers? I want to report you to the police. Stop, don't talk about that anymore. Okay, just give me 2 more days. My boyfriend will pay for me then." Hanging up the phone, she saw me, and her guilty expression immediately turned confident again. She stood on the scale, pretending to boast. "Oh, I've lost another 10-something pounds. I eat so much and I'm still getting thinner. It's such a bother." She pulled out her phone and ordered a pile of high-calorie French fries, fried chicken, and egg tarts for herself. As soon as the food arrived, Lena impatiently tore open the packaging, hastily stuffed it all into her mouth, and then drank 2 large barrels of iced Coca-Cola. "Is our dorm too dry?" She fanned herself, then went to get more water. I watched her, not telling her that leeches thrive in moist environments. In less than a week, Lena's figure had become curvaceous and alluring, attracting glances wherever she went. This time, she confidently went on a date with her dream lover, Liam Hayes, even preparing a love confession. Perhaps wanting to show off, she insisted I accompany her. "Anya, you're my only roommate. I'm a little scared. You absolutely have to come with me." She said this, but then demanded that I not wear makeup and preferably look disheveled in my pajamas. I was a bit speechless, but I agreed. After all, I couldn't miss the show. That day, Lena deliberately wore a tight, low-cut black dress to confess her feelings to Liam Hayes. Against my plain backdrop, Liam Hayes's eyes lit up when he saw her figure, and he immediately accepted on the spot. He embraced her. "Oh my God, Lena, how many more surprises do you have that I don't know about?" Lena shot me a triumphant look. Lena quickly updated her social media. "One life, one love, one couple, destined to grow old together, never apart." The post included a photo of her and Liam Hayes. I pressed like and opened a group chat. All right. Let's bet on how long before young Master Liam changes girlfriends this time. Liam Hayes's character was truly despicable. Previously, he had manipulated a young girl, causing her, still psychologically immature, to slash her wrists and attempt suicide because of him. After the incident, he used his family's influence to suppress the news, continuing his debauched life, constantly changing girlfriends. I felt pity for the girl's parents, an illiterate peasant couple who suffered day and night without being able to do anything. Reborn, I didn't mind being a good person. While I was at it, I might as well drag this hateful scumbag down. Perhaps Liam Hayes didn't know that these special leeches would invade his body through intimate contact. Therefore, I was exceedingly happy about their romance. Since falling in love, Lena was like a victorious rooster, walking with a proud strut. Her social media was updated 4 or 5 times a day with videos flaunting their affection. In the dorm, she would loudly call Liam Hayes on speakerphone, cackling. "Oh, hubby, you're so good to me. My single roommate must be dying of jealousy." I couldn't stand the disturbance anymore and could only console myself that I was moving out soon. Yes, I had found a place outside, and once I finished packing, I would move immediately. Very soon, Liam Hayes began to show impatience with Lena. That day, I was in the dorm when Lena stormed in, seething with anger. That slut dared to seduce my boyfriend. Before I could even ask, Lena saw me beside her and, finding someone to confide in, began to recount the story, interspersed with a barrage of vulgarities. It turned out that today, while Lena and Liam Hayes were on a date, a fair-skinned girl happened to pass by and ask for directions. Immediately, the flirtatious Liam Hayes fixed his gaze on this girl. Although the innocent girl did nothing untoward, in Lena's eyes, this girl had seduced her boyfriend. I was speechless, feeling sorry for the poor girl. Lena gnashed her teeth furiously. That slut, wasn't she just relying on her fair skin to seduce my boyfriend? Let's see if I can make her even fairer. I couldn't help but ask, "Fairness is natural, isn't it? Do you have another way?" Lena looked at me as if I were an idiot. "Open your phone, what do you know? That seller just launched a type of leech that whitens skin. It can eat all the dark pigments in your body. By then, I'll be fair and have a beautiful figure, and I'm about to swallow more new leeches." I immediately nodded in agreement. "You're right, won't your boyfriend be madly in love with you?" Lena giggled, opened the website, and her expression immediately changed. "Damn it, that unscrupulous merchant raised the price again." I craned my neck to look. One leech cost 20,000 yuan and she had to buy at least 20. I understood now, this was the merchant's trick. First, use a low price, then switch to a high price. By this point, the buyer couldn't afford not to buy. Truly a skilled butcher. Lena cursed for a while, then suddenly turned to look at me. "Anya, my good roommate, can you lend me some money? My boyfriend will pay you back then." I almost burst out laughing. Her rich heir boyfriend was a miser. They had been dating for so long, and he had only bought her a scarf from Pinduoduo, which she treasured like a priceless gem. How could I expect such a person to pay me back? I immediately pretended to be weak and hesitated. "Lena, it's not that I don't want to help you, it's just that I don't have that much money." Lena quickly said, "If you don't have money, then borrow it. I have a platform, just give me your ID card and I'll take care of it for you." I secretly rolled my eyes, but on my face I showed a difficult expression. "No, I can't. I lost my ID card a few days ago. I'm still reporting it missing and applying for a new one." Lena immediately looked as if the sky had fallen. She hesitated for a while, then clicked on a new loan platform and tearfully sold 2 bags she had bought with previous loan money. Only then did she manage to scrape together 400,000 yuan. As soon as the 400,000 yuan was in her hands, she immediately bought the skin-whitening leeches. This time, the leeches were different from before, they were white. I looked at them, and my heart turned cold. Wasn't this the genetically modified leech experimental product that was exposed in my previous life? Its power was countless times stronger than the previous leeches. Lena didn't care about such details. As soon as the new leeches were in her hands, she poured the entire box into her mouth. This time, she ate a lot. I saw a white leech hanging from the corner of her mouth, wriggling nonstop. She took a breath and sucked it in. My whole body went numb. This bizarre sight gave me goosebumps. Thanks to these leeches, Lena turned fair in just one day. Both fair and with a beautiful figure, she had compensated for her facial flaws and once again won back the heart of the flirtatious Liam Hayes. But because her entire body was filled with leeches, Lena had to eat a huge amount of food every day. The dorm was piled high with takeout containers. Perhaps she herself didn't realize it. Every time she ate, she was in a hurry, as if wanting to devour everything edible. She had to eat almost 5 meals a day just to barely appease her hunger. I watched her transformation without a word of warning. After all, I wouldn't be soft-hearted like in my previous life, only to end up being pushed down the stairs. Not long after, during a date, Liam Hayes complained, "Why do you eat so much? You won't eat so much anymore, understood?" Back in the dorm, Lena said bitterly. Lena was devastated and tried hard to refrain from eating. In front of Liam Hayes, she pretended to eat like a bird, but because she wasn't eating enough, her temper became irritable and eccentric. She even directly argued with her specialized professor in class. "I said I won't write it, so I won't write it. What do you old men understand? Later, I'll be Mrs. Hayes, what's the point of going to class? That's for commoners like you." After spouting a string of arrogant remarks, under everyone's astonished gaze, she tossed her head and walked out of the classroom. The girl sitting next to me covered her mouth, her face full of shock. "Oh my God, Anya, is that your roommate? She's so crazy." I waved my hand. "Ha, she's always like that, just stay away from her." The girl gave me a sympathetic look. "You're so unlucky to have such a roommate." The respected old professor was so angry he clutched his chest. "I can't handle this young Miss Student anymore." From then on, Lena resolutely stopped attending any classes, staying only in the dorm, calling Liam Hayes intimately every day. The calls from debt collectors increased, with interest compounding, but she didn't care. After all, in her heart, she was already the #1 choice to marry into a wealthy family. But she didn't realize that Liam Hayes had been meeting her less and less often lately. "Hubby, can you transfer some money to me?" The moment I entered the dorm, I heard Lena's coy voice asking Liam Hayes for money. The dress that 2 seconds ago perfectly accentuated her figure now hung loosely. Lena had thinned out considerably again, the veins on her slender arms were clearly visible. I looked at her, feeling uncomfortable, as if I were looking at a walking skeleton. "Oh, I want to buy new clothes." Perhaps seeing me enter, Lena deliberately turned up the speakerphone volume. The result was that the very next second, Liam Hayes's impatient voice rang out from the phone. "I'm tired of this. Let's break up." "What?" Lena shrieked disbelievingly. "No, hubby, did I do something wrong? Why do you want to break up with me? Did some slut outside seduce you?" Liam Hayes couldn't take it anymore. "Shut up. Who knows what kind of disease you have? You've gotten so thin in 2 days. Damn it, don't infect me." With that, Liam Hayes hung up, leaving Lena with only a series of beeps after the call was disconnected. No, you can't break up with me. I've sacrificed so much." Lena was unwilling, continuously sending friend requests, but all were blocked. I shook my head, having long anticipated this day. Liam Hayes was such a scumbag and a playboy. How could he truly love her? Lena wailed. She cried and crawled off the bed, rummaging through her closet for food. Mixed with her tears, she stuffed a pile of expired food into her mouth. Very quickly, everything was eaten. Lena then reached for the trash can. Inside the trash can was half a hamburger, discarded who knows when, and it was summer, so I could see green mold growing on it. Lena didn't mind at all. A mysterious smile even appeared on her face as she ravenously devoured this half-eaten, moldy hamburger. I was astonished by this sight. Looking closely, I saw that with each swallowing motion, something large beneath her skin seemed to be writhing nonstop. After eating the moldy hamburger, she turned her dull, lifeless eyes on me. I was startled and quickly ran out of the dorm. Even after I was out of the dorm, my heart was still pounding. I was afraid that if I stayed, Lena would eat me too. Regaining my composure, I felt a slight regret. Today I had come back to the dorm to move the rest of my things. Now I'd have to come back again tomorrow. The next day, I deliberately asked an enthusiastic female classmate to accompany me. As soon as we opened the dorm door, my classmate and I exclaimed in unison, "Oh my God, how long has it been since your dorm was cleaned? What's that terrible smell?" My classmate covered her nose. I was also surprised. "I don't know either." Entering the dorm, I was astonished. The floor was piled high with various takeout containers, and on a chair sat a girl with her head bowed. Perhaps hearing our movement, she slowly turned her head. "What the hell?" My classmate was so startled she swore. I was also frightened, taking several steps back. Lena, I called out, a little unsure. In just one night, Lena had become like a skeletal figure, so thin her bones protruded. Her cheeks were deeply sunken, her hair dry and sparse, her skin deathly pale, covered by a thin layer of something. Her limbs were like 4 sticks stuck into her body, and her neck was also extremely thin, supporting a disproportionately large skull. Strangely, her belly was distended, like a woman 10 months pregnant. It seemed to take a while for her to react. Lena gave a very strange smile. "You guys are here." My classmate, after being frightened, finally reacted and kindly advised, "Lena, have you lost too much weight? This isn't normal at all. Do you want us to take you to the hospital?" Facing her kind offer of help, Lena affectionately stroked her belly. "I'm pregnant." "What?" my classmate and I exclaimed in unison. I was so astonished my jaw almost dropped. Looking down at her distended belly, something seemed to be wriggling inside. Suddenly, a terrifying thought flashed through my mind. She wasn't pregnant. It must be parasites, a belly full of leeches. "I'm pregnant with Liam Hayes' child. I've forgiven him. My child can't be without a father. I want him to take responsibility for me. Besides, I got so thin for him, he must be madly in love with me." My classmate was indignant. "Oh my God, that scumbag. I'll go with you to find him." I didn't have time to stop her and could only follow helplessly. My classmate helped Lena and inquired about Liam Hayes' whereabouts, learning he was in the cafeteria, and then led them there. In the cafeteria, Liam Hayes was flirting with his new girlfriend. Lena, who had been smiling mysteriously and fantasizing on the way, went mad when she saw this. She charged straight towards him, reaching out to grab Liam Hayes. "You scumbag, I'm pregnant with your child, and you're still out here being a playboy. You have to marry me." Liam Hayes, who had been affectionately romancing his new girlfriend, was suddenly grabbed by Lena and startled at her sight. "What the hell? Get lost." Lena clutched Liam Hayes' hand, thrusting out her belly. "I'm pregnant. It's yours. You have to take responsibility. Marry me quickly." "Get lost, you grotesque monster, and you still want to marry me? I must have been blind to ever love you." Liam Hayes pushed her away, sneering. Lena fell to the ground, suddenly clutching her stomach in pain. "HMPH, keep pretending." Liam Hayes sneered, but Lena wasn't pretending. She fell to the ground, then suddenly scrambled up, quickly rushed to a nearby bucket of leftover food, scooped out leftover rice and soup with both hands, and stuffed it into her mouth. But even so, her body was like a deflating balloon, rapidly thinning at an alarming rate. "Oh my God!" The surrounding students gathered, growing in number. Someone cried out in horror. The next second, Lena collapsed to the ground, clutching her stomach. Ah, countless leeches writhed. Leeches as thick as a baby's arm directly burst forth from her belly and crawled out. The scene was too bizarre. Many surrounding students vomited on the spot. Our school was famous now. Someone filmed the scene in the cafeteria and posted it directly online. The images were too horrifying. Many students were shocked. Someone must have called the police. The police arrived. An ambulance also arrived. By the time Lena was taken to the hospital, she was barely clinging to life. Her body was full of wriggling leeches, especially in her abdomen. The leeches and her internal organs and blood vessels were entangled, completely inseparable. Less than 2 days after she entered the hospital, a woman accompanied by her son came to the hospital, dragged Lena out, and went to the school to demand compensation. It was said that Liam Hayes also collapsed on the spot, screaming for a checkup. The test results were as expected. His entire body was also infested with leeches. Although not to Lena's extent, because of this special genetically modified leech, there was no cure. Knowing the results, Liam Hayes went mad on the spot. The police came to me, asking to understand the course of events. I helplessly showed them my chat history with Lena on my phone. The chat history clearly stated, "I advised her, but she didn't listen." At the same time, I also provided the police with some evidence about the unscrupulous merchant. The police acted very quickly and immediately busted the merchant. At the same time, someone anonymously revealed online the story of Liam Hayes' past manipulation of the girl. The stock of his family's company hovered on the brink of collapse. The Hayes family immediately announced they were disowning their unfilial son. Liam Hayes, who had been carefree and at ease due to his family's influence in his previous life, was also abandoned by the family he had always been so proud of. As for Lena's mother, after receiving the compensation money, she happily took her daughter and disappeared. Later, I brought bodyguards and found her in a remote rural village. "Are you my daughter's classmate, visiting someone without bringing any fruit or money?" Lena's mother scoffed judgmentally. Her son, playing games inside, didn't even look up. I pushed open the door. An indescribable stench assaulted my nostrils. I covered my nose, looking at the skeletal figure on the bed. She was rotting, strange insects wriggling on her body, barely recognizable as human. Why didn't you stop me like last time? Why wasn't it like that?" Lena glared at me bitterly. As I met her gaze, I knew she had also been reborn. That was good. That made it even more meaningful for her to live through the good life of her previous existence than return to this rotten timeline. I smiled faintly. "In my previous life, I stopped you, and didn't I receive the same fate? In this life, I followed your wishes. How is it? Are you satisfied?" Closing the door, I contentedly heard her screams echo from inside. My great vengeance had been exacted. Taking a deep breath, I felt the burden in my heart finally lift. I stepped out of this small village. Music,